So while I was waiting for the third part of the demo to upload, I went in here and used my filbert and I squinted and blocked in some of this color, which was ultramarine blue deep, phthalo red shade, ivory black, Venetian red, and some raw umber to get this color. And it's not a very saturated color. Sorry. Down, Mr. Dean. Sorry, my cat hopped up and I didn't want him to hop in the pigment. So, see, that's a deep color. That's a saturated color. See, this is a lighter value. There's some pigment here, but see, that's lighter, that's deeper. So value is light to dark. This is a dark color. That's a dark color. That's lighter. It's more medium range. It's not a light wash, but it's lighter than that value. So I blocked in this area. So like in the Andrew Wyeth paintings we were looking at, he doesn't solely just use dry brush. And like with dry brush, again, I showed you the technique, but you have to really layer. So I went over it. Please get down, Dean. No, Mr. Dean. No hugs right now. I'm sorry. Sorry, my kitty. So like I was saying with Andrew Wyeth's watercolors is that they, he did dry brush, but he did more than just one technique in his dry brush watercolor paintings. There was wet media on dry paper and wet into wet. So you see some of the wet into wet. It was a wet area and then with wet pigment, so you see the subtle blossom that I did in here. Then over here, I went on top of the dry brush that was dried and did wet media on dry paper. And it was a wet area. Then I went back over with a dry color and see how it makes this diffuse kind of blossom. So I did wet into wet there too. So now we're going to do dry brush for, I want to get into the buds here and the dry brush. I want to interpret these like, they're not wildflowers. This is like winter. I'm trying to figure out what type of flower it is, but that's what I want to make right now. So clean water again, dipping only the tip. And I'm going to use raw umber. And I'm going to clean off my brush. Dry it off on paper towel. Oh, I need to clean it off more. And then again, dry it off on paper towel. And then I'm going to take some of this Davies Gray watercolor and I'm going to mix the two together. Okay, so now I'm going to load my brush. And I'm going to tap, tap. And what I'm going to do is I'm taking the tip and see there's dry brush. See, it's already dry because I took off and I'm going to make some of these stalks dry brush. So it's interpreting your surface, what you think needs to be dry brush. See, that can be dry brush. And see, I can show you in the demo. Now, to make a painting, I don't do one-shot paintings, and what Andrew Wyeth did with this wouldn't be a one-shot painting. So I'm showing you how to do the dry brush watercolor technique, and I'm giving you ideas about how to apply the paint and color mixing and value, and giving you like a structure, but I'm not going to be able to complete this painting because you have to wait and you also have to look and like There's things that I would want to change about it too. But the first thing you do is you start with your line drawing. And so dry brush watercolor technique doesn't have to only be for round brush or filbert. I just prefer those. It could also be for a flat too. I just like how the round brush and the filbert is just more organic. See again, see it's dry brush, see how it drags? And again, you know, you can really build up your dry brush. You just need patience and you have to wait in between each layer for it to dry. The first thing is you start with your line drawing, then your wash, let that dry, and then you do the dry brush on top of that. But when you're looking at your form, I don't want you to make it one solid wash. You have to squint and see the colors and the value and what's there, because you might do several different washes, which is what I showed you before. And then maybe on some parts of your dry brush, you wanted, once it dries, you want to go over it with a wet media on dry paper, because underneath that's dry. So don't limit yourself. I think this has provided enough information for you, but you can email me with more questions. I'd like to get into here, but I think for the time and you guys looking at the demos and then starting on your own paintings, I'm just going to hold off from that. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.